James Button, I am delighted to be joined by a good old friend of mine, Craig Richards. Spider, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? How are you? I'm good
Very
as
good.
always.
Very good, man. Very good. It's been a while. It's nice to catch up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's been ages. I ain't spoken to you in a little while.
That's
You've probably
it.
been busy doing loads of interviews. I'm head under the rock training. So yeah,
This is it. This is it. I think the last time we spoke was probably before the Bivol fight. Um,
yeah.
let's go back to that time. Looking back now, how did you rate your performance?
Was alright. Could have done more. Probably scoring a couple of the early rounds a little bit wrong. I was getting told ringside I was winning certain rounds that obviously the judges didn't give me. I heard the judges didn't give me some of the rounds because they said it was close, but they said obviously any close rounds have to go towards the champion. They said I was probably about 4 punches off getting a nod. Obviously, one of the Russian judges gave it to him by 1 round. The English judge gave it to him by half a round. So I was really 1 round off of being the Super World Champion right now. So it kicks myself to now add more gears to go through and finish the fight with loads left in the engine and come up short.
What's that done for you since then? Does that now make you want to take it out of the judges' hands? Does it push you to do that bit extra, empty your tank out as such?
Yeah, well, I usually have my method in big fights in terms of like the British or the WBA with Jake Paul. Like, all my title fights actually at light heavyweight. Since I moved up, I took it out of the judges' hands and made sure I got the KO. And I think the mentality going in there maybe was a little bit different. I'm not sure if that was something to do with the bubble, seeing him every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Him singing me happy birthday the day before, giving me birthday cake. Kind of ended up being the sparring. Probably one of the first big fights I've been into what wasn't a grudge match. So maybe this wasn't that animosity or spite, but I've learned from that, and I learned that no matter if it's a grudge match or not, I've got to go in there with the same mentality. And that's why my last fight, Mateo, he was being very friendly all week, and I realised we was getting back into that friendly stuff. So that's why I didn't shake his hand at the weigh-in, just to let him know, look, we're not friends. It's business tomorrow. I need to go back in there with that mindset and go and get the job done, and got him out of there.
Which is it. Obviously, came back with a bang, back to winning ways. How pleased were you with that performance and getting a stoppage there?
Yeah, it was good. It was decent performance. I went in there against a guy who was world ranked. He was meant to fight for a world eliminated a week before my fight. Pulled out that fight to fight me. He's only had 2 split decision losses out of 24 fights, and one of a couple of them being arguable. Especially split decisions, they can always go either other way. And that was a rematch for a draw against a guy that huge 15-0, 12 KOs. And they went to the wire, got a draw and a split. So we knew he was going to be tough. I watched the fight. He didn't even blink anytime he got hit. He's never been hurt. He's never been dropped. Never been stopped ever. 24 fights. Was his 25th fight. So to be the first man to go in there and dispatch of him within 6 rounds is always a good result.
You mentioned it already as well. You know the power you carry. Why do you think against Bivol you didn't pull the trigger as such? Was there any? Did you feel any pressure because it was a world title fight?
Yeah, maybe such. I was just trying to get the win, and that was the wrong mentality. Where I should have went in there with the same attitude, get him out of there. He had a very good defense as well. Obviously, we both was nullifying each other with a thinking that IQ game. When I think I caught him with a shot in the fifth, and I saw his leg slightly buckle, and from that moment he stopped dropping his left hand. He glued his hands to his head for the rest of the duration, which was very good. He adapted very well. And I just think that I just needed to maybe just get on him a bit more. I tried to get into little trades with him at time, but he didn't want to take risks. He's very clever. He moved his feet when he needed to, box when he needed to. Um, yeah, just one of them fights that maybe you're just looking at the guy like you're waiting for more from him from the height, but it was the same job. A man, 2 arms, 2 legs. I could have went out there and got the job done just like everyone else. So I learned from that, and it would never happen again for sure. And that's why I always look forward to, if me and him mix it back up, I'll definitely get the job done 110%.
You mentioned he adapted and he adapted quickly. He recognised that you hurt him and he recognised your arsenal there. Does that show the level that he's on? Does that show his cleverness and his ring IQ?
Yeah, 100%. Because people say like his last few fights, he ain't getting them out of there as such, but it shows that I'm the only one who's took him half a round and 1 round on a scorecard. Everyone else is 119, 111, or 118 on to, like, he's winning and beating world class and world champions by a landmark. They're getting 1 or 2 rounds at best. So, and these are world class fighters. He's having shutouts against. So it shows the level he's at, which kind of showed me the level I was at, because I'm the only one to take him 114, 115, 113, 115. The only one to go that close to the wire, and I had more to give. So it kind of reassured me I was in the right place, being on that world level, and he deserves to be where he is and be the super champion.
There's talk come out today at time of recording that he is close to a fight with Canelo Alvarez. It's yet to be seen whether that's at super middleweight or light heavy. But how do you think he fares against Canelo? We've mentioned his ring IQ, we've mentioned how clever he is. Could he look to outbox Canelo, let's say?
Yeah, but I feel Canelo could get to him. I think there are certain times, as you obviously see in the latter rounds, I was getting to him in the last few rounds. And Canelo's going to be coming on a lot stronger, with a lot more pressure, I should say, earlier on than I was. Like, I came on later on and started giving him pressure, which that's the only time I started seeing him unravel, where Canelo's going to be pressuring him from the first bell, and he's going to be onto him, working on the inside, up angles, everything. So it just depends on, does he have enough pop to keep Canelo off for 12? I'm not sure. Stylistically, but I know Canelo's not wanted to fight with him for a while. He's been trying to make that fight. He must have seen something. So it's interesting. It's boxing.
It sounds like the offers on the table to Canelo are a 2-fight deal with Eddie. First one against Bivol, the second one, the Golovkin trilogy, or the other offer on the table is Charlo. Now, for yourself, what would you prefer to see as a fan? What would you prefer to see Canelo take? The Bivol and Golovkin route or the Charlo route?
Probably Bivol and the Golovkin. Well, not Golovkin as such. I think he stops Golovkin now. Golovkin's later, he's old in the tooth, as they say. He showed against, was it Murat? No, it wasn't Murata. Who's the guy he boxed and he kept getting hurt to the body a few times, wincing over. Can't remember the guy's name, but he showed a lot of vulnerabilities in his last fight, getting hurt, withdrawing, surviving rounds and mixing it up. And this guy is not a Canelo. So, and we saw Canelo beat him in his prime. So now he's not in his prime anymore and Canelo's come on. I feel like it's not a good time for Golovkin to box him, to be honest.